Good evening, YouTube. You guys are now watching another segment of the TheCaliEffect. Today we're doing five underrated monsters, period. Today we're going to be starting off with Penguin Soldier, who has a very interesting effect. Flip. You can target up to 2 monsters on the field. Return those targets to the hand. Very simple, very classic effect. Now, what makes Penguin Soldier so good is that it can get rid of synchros and exceeds permanently. It is our modern day compulse in the form of a monster. And not only does it get rid of 2 monsters, one monster gets rid of 2 monsters on either player's side. As if your opponent doesn't attack your Penguin Soldier thinking it's a mermail abyss slain, you get to flip your Penguin Soldier at the Penguin Soldier himself and the opponent's monster, and then you have the ability to set the Penguin Soldier again. Just a really, really good card overall for getting rid of, like I said, synchros, exceeds, fusions, and stuff like that. I think it's highly underrated because it's a flip effect, and it doesn't see a lot of play just because it's flip effect, but it's still a really good card. Next is going to be Doom Caliber Knight. Now, Doom Caliber Knight used to see play, but with the prevalence of Effect Veiler, Doom Caliber Knight stopped seeing play. Because the logic behind Doom Caliber Knight is that if your opponent drops an Effect Veiler, your Doom Caliber Knight has to negate it. So, all else fails, your opponent just discarded a card to destroy one monster in your opponent's out of the field. Now, this format, Effect Veiler is starting to see less and less play, and Fiendish Chain is starting to see more play. That's where Doom Caliber Knight does take advantage. Its effect reads, this cannot be special summoned. During either player's turn, when a monster effect is activated, tribute this face-up card. Negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that monster. Now, Doom Caliber Knight would be, its effect to tribute himself is mandatory, which meaning that Effect Veiler combo would be very hard to get off. But, barring Effect Veiler, Doom Caliber Knight stops a lot of cards. Any of your opponent's Fire Fist monsters effects. All of the mermail monsters. Keep in mind, the opponent's mermail deck is more than likely 80% monsters. The Fire Fist, Bear is a crucial play, and so is their Wolf Bark. What else does it stop? It just stops so many things. The Geargia plays. Just summon Doom Caliber Knight. You don't have to attack. Wait till they flip their armor. Doom Caliber Knight immediately tributes itself. It's just extremely good, and it has a 1900 body to complement itself. It stops Gorge, Track, all of this stuff like that because Doom Caliber Knight is just that good. Not a lot of cards that Doom Caliber Knight can't stop. I guess his weaknesses would be stuff like Draco Sack, Effect Veiler, like I said, maybe even Max C if your deck doesn't even special summon, but if it does, go ahead and take advantage that your opponent had to waste a Max C on a Doom Caliber Knight. Just a really good card, requires a lot of skill to play. Next we're going to be talking about is Morphing Jar number 2. A card that has been starting to see a little bit of play over time, but it's still just so underrated. Its effect reads, shuffle all monsters on the field to the deck. Then each player excavates cards from the top of the deck until they excavate the same number of monsters they shuffled into their main deck. Special summon all excavated level 4 or lower monsters to the field in face down defense position. Also, send the remaining cards to the graveyard. Now, the ruling has changed on Morphing Jar. So now it excavates. But that's still not the main thing that we're talking about. The biggest thing that Morphing Jar does is get rid of synchros, exceeds, and fusions, and in the masses. The opponent does not get to excavate new cards because they were not sent back to the main deck. They were sent back to the extra deck. Morphing Jar is a really good card for getting rid of exceeds and synchros in the masses. It's just a really good card if you're playing a deck like mermails, like since it seems to be the topic of the day. They will think it's a Linda. Well, no, it's not. It's a Morphing Jar. They're going to waste a lot of resources just to get over this Morphing Jar that's going to screw them over. A really good card, highly underrated, and I think that it should be played in a lot of side decks, especially Sylvans now, since I guess it excavates. Sending their own monsters would be a plus for them. Next, we're going to be going into Destiny Hero Plasma. An extremely underrated card, especially now that Scapegoat is at 3. Its effect reads, this card cannot be normal summoned or set. This card cannot be special summoned except by tributing 3 monsters. 3 monsters you control. Once per turn during your main phase. You can select one monster on your opponent's side of the field and equip this to that card. Only one monster can be equipped due to this effect. This card gains equal attack to half of the equipped monster's original attack and gains any of the effects the equipped monster may have. That's the anime effect, because that was just too strong. I know it gains the monster's attack. I can't really read it, so I was reading off to the side. But I know that's English anime. It does not gain the monster's attack it may have, or the monster's effects it may have. It gains the attack. I think that's really about it. Yeah, that's really about it. All is effect. Sorry about that, guys. The effect to tribute 3 monsters is not considered a tribute summon because it is tributing by an effect. So, Scapegoat is very valuable for Destiny Hero Plasma. Not only that, snatching an opponent's monster and gaining half its attack. And and then it negates all your opponent's monsters' effects. It's a skill drain on legs. Extremely powerful, really good card we have going on right here. Destiny Hero Plasma is practically, like I said, can be a game ender because it is a skill drain on legs, and a lot of decks need those monsters effects, such as Fire Fist, Gear, Harpies, and Harpies really can't do much about it because they have to run over it, or make a Lightning Chidori, which its effect is negated, and do some other extra stuff to get over Destiny Hero Plasma. Its effect is really good and highly underrated. A lot of people overlook the fact that it requires 3 monsters, but hey, Scapegoat is at 3. Pretty good combo card for a combo deck. Next, he will always be underrated. He will always be sought after. He will never, ever see the light of day until now. Tualatin. Now, Tualatin is kind of situational, but I think this card is going to be really good in the future. If you control 2 or more monsters at the start of your opponent's battle phase, if you control 2 or more monsters at the start of your opponent's battle phase, and all of them were destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand during that battle phase. If you do, choose an attribute and destroy all face-up monsters with that attribute. Your opponent cannot normal summon or special summon monsters with that attribute. That last effect right there, I don't know if you guys know, but that's game ending right there. Provided that you don't pick light, your opponent can't basically summon. It's just that good. A lot of decks out there are, themed decks which play 1 attribute. So if you declare that 1 attribute that they use, then they're pretty much, it's basically saying they can't summon, period. They can set them, but it really won't hurt you because Tualatin has a 2800 body that can basically run over almost any set monster in the game. I hope you're setting Raikos, but then again, I wouldn't be calling light under the Tualatin. So provided that you don't call light monsters, and even if you do, it's a dark hole on the field. It's just a really, really good card. I think this card can be a true game changer later on down the way when battling becomes a lot more important. But this card is just so good. It's just, I don't even know how to explain it. It's so underrated. But thank you guys for watching another segment of the Cali Effect. Please like, comment, subscribe, but most of all, enjoy.